Take that, camera. Hey guys, Joe here, and let me show you something real quick. It's a disassembled, field stripped 1911, and it is the second gun that I'm going to be reviewing under my new style. That's the original grips it came with. We'll talk about that in a second. But I've decided on a first 100 style. What I'll do is I will take a pistol that's never been fired by me out to the gun range, and I will put 100 rounds through it. And in those first 100 rounds, we'll see if there's any issues, such as misfeeds, failures to eject, whatever the case may be. Be it if it blows out a mag, whatever happens, happens. And it'll be on whatever guns I pick up. And it will be honest and truthful, and you will see exactly what I see the first time I fire a gun. And I thought that would be a cool premise. Let's talk about this one and the reason I have it apart. Well, let's start with how I acquired it. If you saw from this video where I picked up some stuff, was it just before or just after Thanksgiving? I picked up a CZ-P09 Duty pistol, and I wound up getting rid of it. I wound up taking it to my buddy's shop, where I actually got it from originally, because I wasn't happy with it. Shot fine, it was okay, but I already have a polymer Wonder gun, and I wanted a 1911 in 45. So he traded me for this 1911. Now this is a Rock Island. Some people love Rock Island, some people hate Rock Island. I'm in the first camp. I love Rock Island. I've had nothing but good luck with my Rock Island stuff. I don't know why I keep showing you the grip. That's the grip that originally came on the pistol. This is the grip that's on it now. We'll get to that. But I've had a 9mm 22 TCM. I've also had a revolver, the 38 Special Model 200, I believe it was. And I've never had an issue with either gun. They ran flawlessly. But I got rid of the 9mm because I kind of wanted a 45 ACP 1911. And I said if I got rid of the Rock Island 1911 9mm, it was going to be for a Rock Island 1911 45. And that's what this is. This is technically, it's called just a full-size standard because they dropped the name Tactical from it because now they have Tac Ultras. And the main difference is on a Tactical, it has a fiber optic front sight. Same Novak style rear sight. And this isn't a GI model, even though it's an A1, because it has a skeletonized trigger and a commander hammer and the ambidextrous safeties. Almost couldn't say that, but I did. Yay! This gun fits almost everything I was looking for. It's almost the same functionality as that Para Ordnance was, but it's in a full 5-inch frame versus 4 1/4. It's also a cheaper handgun, so I could, be a little bit more user intensive with it. I'm not going to say abuse it because that's a completely different thing. So I picked it up, and I've learned a couple of things with the Rock Islands and most 1911s in general, and that's sometimes you got to tune them a little bit. And that's what I did with this gun. Right out of the box, first thing I did was, you can see there, the silver. This used to all be Parkerized, just like this finish, because they completely Parkerized the frame, the slide, everything, and then they assemble it. And it was a decent assembly. It doesn't make noise. Even now, it still doesn't make noise. But I took all the Parkerization off, freed up just a smidge of room, probably 1 or 2 thousandths. But in addition to doing that, I polished the snot out of them. I started with the file, which gets all the Parkerization off, and then I hit it with 1200 grit and 1500 grit sandpaper. So this is smooth as glass. And I did the same thing inside the slide. It's hard to see because of the light, but if you look through the ejection port there, you'll see it's silver in there as well. What that does is it allows it to rack a lot smoother. It can handle a little bit more grit and grime before you start having any kind of issues, as well as it just makes a smoother operating handgun. Why wouldn't you do that? Now, I'm not suggesting that you smith your own guns. I'm doing it because I've had practice. I actually used to practice on airsoft guns, different mods to airsoft guns to see what would work, because some airsoft guns are identical to their real life counterparts. And I discovered things like polishing the rails definitely helps. I also polished the feed ramp with some 1500 grit, so it'll help against those bullets that have like weird edges on them, like 185 grain semi-wad cutters, or even like hollow points, because some guns don't like weird shaped bullets, and I wanted to make sure this isn't one of them. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to send you out to the range with me, past me, since obviously you're seeing this now. Doesn't make sense to you, but it does to me. And we'll run through the first 100 rounds, see what I can do with it, and then we'll come back and I'll give you my conclusions. So here we are, we're out at the range now, and we're going to go ahead and put some rounds through this. It's the Rock Island full-size 1911 A1 in .45 caliber. Nothing in it. And we're going to see what a $400 handgun can do. Or a $400 1911 anyways. I'm going to be using American Eagle because I've been using some cheaper stuff, and you know, it just dirties up the gun too damn fast. I did bring my cleaning kit just in case this stuff burns dirty, but I've never heard bad things about it. So I'm going to go ahead and load up my mags and we'll get to it. Oh, real quick before I do that, one thing I'm not sure if I mentioned in my tabletop is this is the standard mag. It's made by ACT Mag. These are KCI mags that I purchased because they were cheap. Although not much cheaper than you can get some other stuff for, but I needed a couple extra mags. And yeah, these are really nice and hold 8 rounds. These aren't, and they only hold 7. And the reason is, if you look at the back here, it's actually a little bit shorter on the KCI than it is on the actual mag for the gun. Plus, I'm sorry if there's a dog barking the whole time. Not much I can do about that. The guy back there, for some reason, have dogs that bark near a shooting range. So I'm gonna load these up, move you over there, and we'll get to shooting. I'm about 21 feet away, 7 yards. I'm gonna be doing my first sighting shots on this thing. And I wear earplugs because I don't care about having the big earmuffs. And I actually like the way it feels, so yeah. First shots out of the Rock Island 1911. I'm going to start with the factory mag because that's one it came with, and if it's going to have any malfunctions, I doubt it will be with this one. So here we go. Go down and take a look. So it appears that it pretty much shoots right on the sights. First one was a little bit high, and then I yanked that one while I was shooting, but that was the next 5. So looks like it's pretty much right where it should be. So this one is the mag that was hitting on the inside of the mag well that I ground down a little bit, or filed a little bit. It seems to eject them fine when I was manually ejecting them out of the slide, but let's see how it functions. So I'm going to hold the bottom of the red. And I'm going to put my ear protection in. No failure till fade. I'm going to burn through the last 2 mags that I have, and then I will put up a new target, and we'll try some tighter shooting. First 30, no problem. Although now I have a slight ringing in my ear because I forgot to put in my protection, but yeah, it's shooting pretty good. I'm going to put up a different target and we'll start again. Again from 7 yards. Yeah, that's not bad for 7 yards in a gun that I've only fired. Well, this makes 56 times or 58 times. But yeah, 230 ball ammo, man, it'll do some damage, I'm telling you. Hey, I'm going to pop in here for a second. We'll go right back to it. But if you notice, there's a couple of times in the video where you're going to see me go to shoot, and then I'm going to look at the slide and look at my hand placement on the safety. That's because as I was shooting, the ambi safety was actually causing me some trouble because of the size of the safety itself. You can see how wide they are because this is a competition style ambi. Well, I need to shave these down, make them more round versus as straight and edged as they are, because with my hand on there, it actually keeps my hand from making full contact with the grip safety. And then there was a couple of times where I'm sitting here holding it, and with my thumb on the safety, it actually wasn't giving me enough contact to pull the trigger. See? So I had to adjust as I was shooting. So yeah, back to it. So that's 58, 60 rounds. Surprisingly, these KCIs are doing just fine. I guess surprising is the wrong word, because I actually had some of these with the Para Ordnance Commander size one, and they ran fine. Obviously, these are perfectly AT mags, or AC mags. AT, AC, ACT, act now before supplies are gone. I don't know. And then if you've watched some of my other videos, you'll know that I also shoot left-handed. This one. And let's sling some bullets downrange lefty. And it's actually a fun skill to develop. And the ambi safety works great on this side at least. First rounds, 45 caliber, 230 grain, left-handed. Take that, camera. So I'm going to jump in one more time here. As you saw in the video, when I started shooting left-handed, I was pulling my trigger finger up in front of the trigger guard, or my right hand trigger finger in front of the guard. I noticed that I do that when I shoot left, and that is why my shots pull to the right. But I did notice that, and it's because of the break in my hand, which you may not be familiar with. You see that shadow right there? That's because I have what's called the boxer's break in my right hand, which has 2 breaks in this last bone and 3 breaks in the bone next to it. So my hand actually curves at an unnatural angle, as opposed to a regular hand, which would curve a little bit higher up. Mine basically bends in the middle of the hand versus the top of the hand. You can see the knuckle moving there in the shadow. So when I grip a pistol with my right side, it's very unnatural for me. So I wind up migrating this finger up to the top there. I still maintain the same grip on the frame, and I keep my thumb up high, but this finger tends to go in front of the trigger guard, which I've noticed. And additionally, I noticed that when I'm shooting fast, I tend to pull this hand up after a reload. I gotta focus on that. So more focus on this side, but on this side, there's nothing I can do about that. My hand does that. I basically only have 4 fingers on this hand because this does nothing, because I can't grip really hard with this finger. So it's pretty much just, you'll see in the video that it's just kind of moving up and down, and what can you do? So back to it. Not bad. Again, first time left-handed, and the sights are still pretty much on. For the last one, I've decided to do something a little bit different. So I have my actual Rock Island mag in here with, I didn't count, 3 or 4 rounds in it. And then each of these have between 3 and 4 rounds in it. So what I'm going to do is just fire them as fast as I can and do some mag changes while I'm doing it. So thought it would be fun. Go on. It did it, but I think you darkened out on me. But let's see what happened. Not bad. I don't know which ones were which, but yeah, it fired them no problem, and every mag was fine, so we're good there. So welcome back. Hopefully you enjoyed that little shooting portion. I don't know if it's just because I feel comfortable with the Rock Island, or if it's just this gun is actually that decent. But I shot better groups with this 5-inch 1911 than I did with the Auto Ordnance or the Springfield that I owned. I had a really nice Springfield, but it was just a plain GI model without the Novak style. It was just the V-notch and then the small blade. But even with that gun, I wasn't as accurate as I was with this gun. And this gun seems to be almost match grade fit and finish. And as I put it back together, we'll talk about that. But for a $400 1911, it actually retails at $489, but you can definitely get it cheaper if you do a little bit of hunting around. And it does everything. As you saw, it was really, don't scratch the slide. It was really comfortable to shoot. Single stack is fine, although I'll be honest, I prefer double stack, just because my first 1911 was actually a double stack. But again, that's personal preference. You guys will do whatever you feel is best for you. But yeah, it was very accurate. I was very impressed with that. 7 yards. It's probably one of the better groupings I've done. However, I have been doing a lot of dry firing with my gun in preparation for it. I've also been watching a lot of different instructional videos on the correct way to hold your grip, hold the pistol in relationship to your hands, and all that good stuff. So, back together. But I feel that I'm learning more techniques and becoming a better shooter. But now that it's back reassembled, let me shake it for you so you can hear what I was talking about by I think it's like near match grade. There's just a little bit, and that's probably from me filing off the Parkerization. But compared to the Auto Ordnance, which was a brand new firearm when I first shot it, this thing is quiet as a mouse. That thing sounded like it was like bouncing rocks inside the slide. So this is a very tight fit, and I'm very happy with it, and it shoots very well. I guess the question is, what's my opinion on this thing? Well, I think this is a good gun. I don't think it's a good gun for $400 or $500 or whatever you may pay for it. I think it's a good gun, full stop. It's a good gun. It has a lot of things you'll pay a lot more money for, such as the skeletonized trigger, Commander hammer, Novak style sight. I say Novak style because I don't think it's a real Novak, but ambidextrous safeties. It's got nice grips on it. Everything that's on this gun you'll pay more money for. The Springfield 45 that I was shooting is a $700 gun, $750 gun. Even the Auto Ordnance stuff is $700 new. So for almost $300 cheaper, this is an amazing gun. If you just compared them gun to gun, it stacks up with them no problem. I've never put my hands on a Colt or a Dan Wesson or an Ed Brown or a Les Baer or any of those, but in terms of all the 1911s I've shot, this is right up there. It's the top of the line for me. Obviously the 9mm had a lower impulse for the recoil, but in terms of 45, this takes top honors, and I'm going to put a lot of rounds through it and see how it reacts. So what are some of the downsides about this pistol? Because I don't want to just be a Rock Boy fanboy. Rock Boy fanboy? Rock Island fanboy. The ambies hurt. After 100 rounds, they're sharp, and they were, wearing on the inside of my my thumb there. The trigger needs a little bit of adjustment on this one. It does have an adjustable stop, so I'm going to monkey with that and see if that fixes it. Other than that, I was pretty happy with it. As I pointed out in the video, the sight is drifted to the left a little bit. Yeah, the left. And it caused the gun to shoot to the left. That happens. So I need to fix that. That came from the factory like that. Came out of the box, drifted to the left. Other than that, I've had no problems with it. I'm pretty sure that the issue I'm having with the grip safety is from the safeties, because that Para Ordnance had a regular safety, even though it was only one-sided, it had a regular safety that wasn't as wide, and it didn't cause this issue. So I will be filing that one side down, possibly both sides, since, as you saw in the video, I do shoot ambidextrous. I need more practice with this one, and when I do, then I'll be better. So in conclusion, if you want to get a 1911, you want to get in at the lower price point, but you don't want to sacrifice some quality, I highly suggest a Rock Island. They have lifetime warranties on them. Apparently, customer service is great. I've never had to call, but they'll take care of you. They manufacture a good-looking pistol. Thankfully, a couple of years ago, they went from the billboard to the just corner of the slide, which looks so much better. And yeah, like I said, it's just a beautiful pistol that I think you'll really enjoy. Keep an eye out because I do intend to probably put a magwell on here with a different backstrap, as well as put the stainless extended beaver tail, the stainless hammer, and probably stainless ambi safeties. And then I think this is a good to go gun. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. Tell your friends about it. Tell your friends that I do all kinds of goofy stuff on this channel, including the cars. The video games, not so much. My feet are still healing, so I'm kind of saving my walking ability for when I get to go shooting. And we'll start all this back up after the first of the year. So hope you had a good holiday. Stay safe the rest of the holiday season. And as always, I'll talk to you later.